I am so happy with how this looks for the Rangers. We have a pitcher, Jack Leiter, and he is a dude.
And while I do think his hitting is worse than Derek Jeter, it's not that far off.
You're not mentioning 2006. You can mention the other people, not 2006.
Oh, just because I bought the best soap doesn't mean your room's going to be clean. It just leaves it to where I don't believe that the Canadians had a shot.
I really don't like the Clippers just kind of sending it in when they're like...
Hi, this is Kelly Forbes with the Dallas Stars, and listening to Outsiders' Opinions with Kevin and Oscar.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to our NFL Opinions of the Week. I am Kevin, and I am joined by the man that... Who do you think is the best team in the AFC? Or top two? I think Bills are easily the best.
I don't think it's easy. I don't think it's easily. We've seen their holes in the team, I feel like. I would say they're my number one, and I'd probably put Colts too. The way the Colts have played recently is outstanding. And they should have beat the Rams, in my opinion, if not for, again, a holding play and another bad play by Adonai Mitchell that cost them 14 points. It didn't just cost them 7. It cost them 14 points in 2 plays. I think that the Bills have some problems. I think the Patriots and the Ravens showed that, because the Ravens have struggled this year and their defense has been horrible. But the Bills' defense hasn't been that great against actual good teams. Yeah,
I don't really want. I know we talked about Colts versus Jaguars, but currently I would understand putting Colts too, given just how they've started. Even though I do think that falters, but I think that's a right pick. I would argue the Chargers as number 2.
The Chargers lost to the Giants, and they also just got pretty destroyed. Their O-line is completely injured. Both Rashawn Slater and Joe Alt are injured right now, and until that changes, I don't see how they're going to be able to throw the ball down the field like they were able to early in the season.
Yeah, I understand that, and given their late struggles, I can see, but I trust Jim Harbaugh, and to me, having Herbert as quarterback plays a huge part.
Yeah, but if you can't throw the ball because you're constantly getting bull rushed, I have concerns about the Chargers. I think the injury to Omari and Hampton and both tackles is going to be too much to overcome until those guys become healthy.
Yeah, and then you could argue kind of like the top teams. I don't want to say Kansas City is out of it, because
They're not.
They could turn it around, but it's not going to really change until they get everyone back. I think Rashee Rice coming back is going to really
but that's soon. So that's not this week, but next week. It's not week 6, but week 7.
Yeah, but it's just, can you stay afloat? And it's not just them; they're kind of being able to stay afloat, given that yes, some teams are 3-1. And only have 1 loss, like the Bills, Steelers, Colts, and Jaguars. But in their division, the Chargers and Broncos have 2 losses, while Kansas City only has 3. So things could change.
And the Raiders have really struggled thus far. So, they're definitely in contention for a playoff spot.
Yeah, and then another thing is, do you trust the Steelers?
I need to see another week.
Yeah, I don't know what could make me convinced of the Steelers being good. I think there's
I definitely think I could be convinced, but this week they play the Browns. The Browns have a really good defense. I need to see them beat them. I also need to see them beat the Bengals. But they were very close against a Seahawks team. There wasn't a crazy gaffe in that game, and the Seahawks have looked good this year. They're 3-2.
Yeah. Seahawks look to be a really dangerous team. And kind of speaking of dangerous teams, you have the Broncos upsetting the Eagles after a really rough offensive performance, but they still found a way to put 18 points in the fourth quarter and hold the Philadelphia offense. It's really, I don't know what offenses are really good in the AFC. I think they all struggle. It's a lot of some great defensive teams. Of course, the Bills are great offensively, but
yeah, it's more matchup dependent, I feel. I think that Kansas City offense has been surprisingly good. It's their defense that has struggled this year. I do want to see a lot more from the Steelers before I'm convinced, but their team has looked good thus far. So based on the last 4 games they played, because they had a bye week last week, I've been pleasantly surprised, but I need to see that continue.
Yeah, I think one game, kind of speaking of schedules, I want to see how the Colts perform against the Chargers because I do believe in the Chargers and just that toughness. Assuming that the Colts beat Cardinals, which they should, since they're a good team, but that could be a trap game for a young team that's surprisingly doing so well. I want to see how the Colts perform against the Chargers, and just that will be built up as a huge game between two top teams in the AFC, and who wins that could really secure not only kind of where teams look at, but really set the tone of what this team is supposed to be or will look like during this season.
Yeah. That's a good point.
Yeah, so if it's surprising just given that I don't know if there are a ton of great teams in the AFC or maybe just the AFC is so even. It's hard. It's a razor thin edge.
I think it's also a little bit early in the season.
Yeah. Okay. All right. But yeah, I think I'm interested. Well, the Ravens seem pretty much out of it. The Lamar Jackson, because he's that type of player that can keep them elevated while they have a bunch of injuries, but him being out really just hampers that team.
1,000%. It's going to take a lot for them to come back. I've started 1-4, and him also almost certainly being out this week, and they don't play the easiest matchup in the world. This could be a rough season for them.
Yeah. And it could be a rough season for a lot of teams, and we will keep you covered. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. We appreciate you listening to Outsiders Opinions.